Oh, it does say 1:30. Mine still says 1:29. Okay, so thank you, everyone. It is 1:30 and we will call the meeting to order, but let me first read some of the information. This meeting will be live streamed on the school board's YouTube channel at https://www.youtube.com/@Beaufort County School Board. To speak during the Finance Committee public comments, please sign up using the public comment form. You can find the Board of Education public comment form on our website at https://beaufortschools.net/about-us/board-of-ed/public-comments. You'll receive a phone call during public comments where you'll be able to speak and address the committee for a maximum of 3 minutes on issues within the committee's domain. The forum will be limited to 15 minutes. Citizens desiring to participate in person must fill out a public comment card that can be obtained from the board clerk upon arrival. With that, if we will call the meeting to order at 1:30, and is there is Ms. Hay on?
Yes.
Ms. Hay, will you offer a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, ma'am. My second, all in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passed unanimously. If you will, join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and afterwards, a moment of silence. And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Ms. Cushingberry, has this media been properly notified, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Are there any public comments?
No, sir.
Ms. Hay, would you be willing to review the minutes and make a motion for approval if you are so inclined?
Yes, I move. Hold on one second. I am not in a position where I can see the date for the meeting minutes. Hold on
November
one
13th.
second. November 13th. There we are. I move to approve the meeting minutes from the November 13th, 2025 Finance Committee meeting minutes.
Thank you very much. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passed unanimously. Okay, our esteemed finance colleague. Who's on first?
I'm on first.
Thank you, Ms. Abar.
I did review the detail of the board's budget with Ms. Crosby, and so far through this year, we are through, as of November 21st, we are 24.8% spent for the board's budget, and everything looked normal, didn't stick out to her. Nothing stuck out to her as being unusual for this time of the year or the timing of the way the charges have fallen.
Okay, where are you seeing that 28% number you just?
Should be on the last page. It's page 10.
I see 29.2.
The 24, 28, the percent used. Oh, do you have this one? This is the front cover of it,
Take a look and see if I'm missing.
Looks like it might have been pulled just a day or so apart.
Okay.
But they're pretty close.
Okay, so I see on that one 29.2.
Yeah.
And yours is 24, right?
24.8.
Okay, all right. So the way I was sharing right before the meeting started, I go through and I look at how much of the calendar year has been basically passed. And if it's on days, I divide it by 365, and that gives me the percentage if we're rating it, right? And so then you'll see here, I just look Anything above that percentage would be. So looks like a very good performance. Okay, so we want to relay that to people. And then the thing that I really liked was I could see where the organization like dues, and we know that's the goat in the python of paying South Carolina School Board Association, and then some others. So I have no questions there. Ms. Hay, any insights you'd like to share, ma'am?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Can I ask who's on the iPhone? Who's on the iPhone?
Do you have me?
I have you, but then I also have someone on the iPhone with FL.
Can we identify them? Can you identify yourself, please, if you are the person identified as the iPhone?
And whoever, you're muted if whoever's on the iPhone. I don't know if that's the colonel or not. I don't know the number.
Do you have it? You sure that's sure?
I can't, I mean, I can't tell. FLVL6X 392L.
What,
It's Wendy.
oh,
Okay, thank
okay.
you.
Thank you, Wendy. Okay. Board monthly budget. Ms. Hay, did you have any comments, or Ms. Frazier?
I did not, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
I don't either.
Okay. All right, transparency reports.
That'd be me, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Again, Finance Department's pleased to present the transparency executive summary identifying expenditures for October of 2025. It includes, again, an analysis of major spending area and provides visualizations to enhance understanding of financial allocations across the core. We also list, of course, our responsibility to transparency and to being good stewards of the community. As required by OE6, on the first page, you'll see a list of contracts and addendums or amendments through construction that were valued over $100,000 that were completed in October of 2025. And if we move to our first graph, you can see the expenditures by fund for October of 2025. General and capital funds were primary funds used for October. I don't know why it says there were 5 Fridays. I believe that is a typo at the bottom. And 5 accounts payable checks run in the month of October. Oh, 5 Fridays. Now I know why I said it. I'm sorry. I just didn't expect it to say 5 Fridays. I was like, that's gotta be a typo in there. There are 5 Fridays and 5 accounts payable checks run in the month of October. Additionally, there were 3 paydays in October of 2025. Top 25 expenditures by category. As you can see, the biggest category for expenditures was building and finishes, followed by property insurance. Areas included construction, technology, and software purchases, repairs. Funding was allocated to support students, facilities, and enhance technology infrastructure. The top 10 expenditures by programs. The top one again was facilities acquisition and construction, followed by operation and maintenance and food services. Spending covered 10 key categories aligned with district priorities. Areas included instruction, construction, technology, and software purchases, repairs, and maintenance operations. Lastly is the vendors' expenditures that exceeded $100,000. And you can see the graph there that gives you the visual of what our spending has looked like compared to last October, in October of 2024. The summary of major variances really is comparative to construction and facilities in October of 25 and October of 24. Thompson Turner Construction had a major increase from 1.1 million in October of 24 to 5.7 million in October of 25. It's attributed to expanded construction services under multiple RFPs that they contribute to. at a wide range of school sites and facilities. MBCon expenditures rose sharply, from 161,000 to 4.1 million, reflecting major construction projects at Bluffton High School, Defusky Island, Hilton Head High, River Ridge, School for Creative Arts, under multiple RFPs as well. And then Shoreline Construction reported 1.3 million in October of 25, and they didn't have any comparable expenditures in 2024 due to new construction services where they were new contract at the time. Southeast Roofing Solutions had a larger expenditure this year compared to last year, but then because of the roofing projects that they did at multiple locations, including Battery Creek, Bluffton Middle, Hilton Head High School, Ladies Island Middle, Red Cedar. Again, major variances in construction are always primarily driven by expanded project scopes, new contracts, and milestone payments for large-scale construction and facility upgrades. Technology services and other vendors applied data was 477,000 this year, and no comparable amount last year due to the purchase of monitors and computers across multiple schools this year. Culinary Depot, the same for new kitchen equipment. That's typically not a non-recurring expenditure. This is something they had excess funds, and we're buying new ovens and new pizza ovens that were installed as well. Has it's been for the past previous months, vendors like Interstate Premier and the Bud Group custodial contracts, those didn't exist last year during this time frame. So now we're just coming up and within the next few months where you're going to have comparable figures, and you don't now. Source for teachers, there wasn't as a major variance as there has been in some other months, as we experienced a decrease last year compared to this year of how much we're using for subs. Several vendors such as PIVA Insurance, we did see significant increases due to premium payments for multiple months at a time. And then utility providers like Dominion Energy and Palmetto Electric showed moderate increases, just reflecting our ongoing operational needs. And then new vendor contracts again, such as the Bud Group and Corebridge Financial. And that is what I have for the transparency report.
Ms. Hay, any insights you'd like to share, ma'am?
No, sir, not at this time. Thank you.
Ms. Frazier?
No, sir.
Okay. May I?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So one of the things we wanted to accomplish by making it a lot easier visually to understand where the exceptions are without losing or diminishing our responsibility for oversight. And so that balance between being very quick to identify where the areas are. And I made a note to myself, would it be beneficial for these charts to have a versus last year?
They could be, yes.
Yeah, and then that way we can easily pinpoint not only how they're doing in terms of the total spend for the month, but also how we're doing, because we won't always be able to very quickly identify trends. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So if you're okay with that, I will do it for this one,
For the expenditures by fund
expenditures for this one,
and by cap.
and by category. You did it here, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah, okay, this is by vendors.
That's showing just the expenditures by program that we have. So you're seeing it by program for the month. Yeah, absolutely. I can put together a couple different variations for it, just to see which one would be more beneficial, because our, depending on what's being spent that month in different funds, like construction may be a big one because we're having a new school built. So we'll have different variations by funds, but so to seeing if it's doing it by month or doing it by annually, as we're seeing how that's fluctuating. I can definitely put together a couple things and give it to Ms. Crosby and let her.
This worked for me.
Yeah, I like that now.
All right, so by comparing, I don't know if they can see this, but what page is this? This is page 5 of the report that we're discussing. What I do is I just go through and see which ones are showing visually
Mhm.
significant increases. And so there were 13 that actually showed improvements. and then 19 that had slight regressions.
Mhm.
So that's the type of thing we want the public to be able to see.
Yes, sir.
Because we don't want anybody to be able to come a year from now and say, those people that weren't really paying attention. We know that's not true. Okay, but you always try to guard against what a potential allegation could be before it comes. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Would you prefer the, all maps to be in this or on visualizations in this format itself?
It works for me. So if you
Okay.
wanted to use it as a first out of the block.
I'm
Well,
sorry. I
Oh.
was just signaling.
okay, if you wanted to use that as the first out of the blocks, and then the next meeting, everybody can critique it.
Okay,
And we'll get something that everyone feels comfortable with. And for Ms. Hay, and Ms. Frazier, one of the things that, the last thing I wrote was, I think to also help increase transparency,
Mhm.
where this information comes from, if it is a particular report, can we add that link? You do it on the last page.
it is, if you go to that same link, you
Mhm.
just pull the month for transparency report from the previous year. So that takes you to all the transparency reports. And if you click there, the data we compare from both transparency reports.
Okay.
Both years. So all the data is still raw and still there in transparency form.
Okay.
We just condense it into this report here. So we use that data that's been posted.
Okay, so then let me ask you this then. With that, as a training period, is there a direct correlation that you can go directly to see where this information is?
That would be, again, straight from the
Straight.
transparency report. And yeah, if you'll pull it up.
Would it
So-
monthly?
Yes, monthly transparency report and 126 and October. So this is saved from an Excel spreadsheet and into a PDF so that it cannot be manipulated on the website. And so I have an Excel spreadsheet. I use my formulas to bring out that data into groups so that you guys don't have to. It can easily be done with any of the data that we have. So whatever data is on there from October of 2024 is pulled exactly the same way so that my presentational data can be compared to something from a year ago, no matter what, to show that it hasn't been altered in any way, and we keep them on there for that.
Can the Carltons of the world, can they go from the first line to there very easily and see this?
To pull that data that you,
Uh-huh.
for the, by category, no.
It's
They-
not direct.
No, because we didn't want the data to be, yeah, exactly, not malleable.
Oh, it's changeable?
So, well, that way this kid, they can't change this.
Okay, okay.
I have it in Excel so that I can.
Oh,
put in formulas and
okay,
group it
okay,
together, and then
okay.
I put it into Smart Sheets, which then produces these graphs so that you don't have to, but you could export this as an Excel if you wanted to. It's posted here as a PDF so that the data is always tried and true to the
Yeah.
website. And
Understand.
then you could group it to compare my data to make sure that, we really are being transparent. But, could the Carltons of the world? I don't.
Carltons of the world probably can't.
But that's why we use Smart Sheets to easily pull the data instead of it taking weeks at a time to pull this. We are able to condense most of this down into a week's worth of work
Certainly understand
to
that.
be able to do that.
Certainly
Yeah, but
understand.
all the raw data is available 100% time to the.
So for future finance meetings going forward, should we sort of just do what you just did, show them how to go from to this page here?
Sure, we can show them where the data is if anybody
Yeah.
wants to do a comparison for anything. Absolutely, I'm 100% transparent.
Let's do that for the next 3 finance meetings. So
Just
that,
all I did was click on the link that at the bottom of the report.
that one?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and it took us straight over to there.
Okay,
I believe we have 5 years on there.
You have
Should be 4,
4,
23, 24, 25, and 26.
so it'd be like a very brief tutorial.
Mhm.
So that the public or any of our other board members are seeing how they very quickly can go.
Yes, sir.
All right, is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Frazier and Ms. Hay, are you okay with that? Any edits?
No, sir, I love that. I love having easy information, and being able to compare year over year is important as well. So I'm in 100% support.
Thank you, Ms. Hay. Ms. Frazier?
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, to the audit.
Oh, we have one more part of
Oh,
the,
what
this is
did I
the
miss?
in-depth one that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, this one,
yeah.
okay. Not a problem.
Yeah, this was fun, actually. I usually wouldn't say that it was, but it was neat to kind of pull data and compare it in a way that we hadn't done it before, especially like energy. So this is the focused review that has been requested by the Finance Committee, and this time it was energy that we focused on. So we highlighted the category for the month of October in district energy use. Beaufort County receives electricity from both Palmetto Electric Cooperative and Dominion Energy because these providers serve different locations and they use very distinct service models. Palmetto Electric is a member-owned cooperative focused on rural communities, while Dominion Energy is a major investor-owned utility supplying power to various regions of South Carolina. Palmetto Electric it's a nonprofit and owned by its members, and it supports mainly the Bluffton, Hampton, and Jasper County area. It was established in 1940 by local rural residents. So a little bit of history lesson in here with that. Dominion Energy, it operates investor-owned utility, and it supplies electricity up and down the East Coast from Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Beaufort County, but primarily the northern part and Hilton Head. Let's see. And so 100% of energy costs are paid from the general fund. Rate increases were announced in August of 2024 for Palmetto Electric Cooperative and Dominion Energy, proposed increases of 15% to take effect on July 1st, 2025. The reasons for increases is we had inflationary pressures, rising costs of labor, materials, and equipment, infrastructure investments. The company is investing in new energy sources and infrastructure upgrades to meet growing demands, particularly from data centers. Reliability improvements, the proposed increases aim to maintain high reliability standards, including less downtime. The expenditures over the past 3 years, FY24, we spent $7.2 million on energy, FY25, $7.3 million, and in FY26, $8.2 million is budgeted with a 12% increase projected. So 25% of our energy costs come from Palmetto Electric, while the other 75% is paid to Dominion. The energy usage trends reflect both Beaufort County, South Carolina weather patterns and school occupancy levels. Usage stays moderate through the mild winters and spring months when heating and cooling needs are low. From June through September, charges rise sharply due to Beaufort's hot, humid summer conditions combined with increased school occupancy and activity since we started school earlier this year, both of which drive heavier air conditioning demand. So usage begins to ease in October as temperatures cool, and then lower November values due to payment posted the following month rather than a true drop in consumption, which you can see here. You've seen a huge drop in consumption, and that was because one bill was paid in the previous month rather than the following. So, and then your visual. This shows our energy comparison for the past 2 years as requested.
Ms. Hay, excuse me,
Yes, sir.
you good?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Okay, good. Ms. Frazier?
Mr. Smith's on now.
Okay, Mr. Smith, any comments or feedback, sir? Okay,
Muted.
okay,
No,
so,
sir.
thank you, Mr. Smith.
Sure.
This is a very good document. Not only, you always do great work, right? That's a given. That's the expectation, and you satisfy that expectation every time I've ever seen anything produced. How can we use this to help new board members accelerate up the learning curve faster?
I think with just us starting to do this and produce these in-depth reports and collectively sharing with them of the type of focus areas that we're focusing on and that we are open to categories as they're given to Ms. Crosby. And then as she works with the Finance Committee to see what areas are really important to the board and to constituents that we're willing to produce the data for it.
Would it be worthwhile to have a file where you archive these? Because it's very instructional.
Yes, we will archive all of them, and I believe also Ms. Cushenberry will archive them as well,
do.
since they're part of
We
the
have-
Finance Committee.
One of the things that was discussed yesterday in the legislative committee, we showed a couple of videos that were done by Principal Clint Austin and the superintendent. Very informative, 5 minutes or less, or 6 minutes or less. And you just learn so much. And part of what we're trying to make sure we do, again, in terms of heading off a question before it's even asked, is if anybody says, well, I like to learn more about it. So, I'm not burdening you, I'm not asking to burden you with this now. But if you will, when Ms. Crosby gets back, just think of how you can create it as a teaching center. And then Ms. Cushingberry, she takes new board members through. Maybe this can become part of what you folks come in, you help explain it.
Maybe something similar to the aspiring principles that we all did together. Good for, okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Frazier, Smith, and Ms. Hay, comments? Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Whatever the will of the board is.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Smith. All right,
I'm all done, sir.
well done. All right, next item. Budget calendar.
Audit,
Next time is actually the.
the audit.
What is that? Oh, I didn't read the whole doggone sentence.
And that's me. I have OE 6.1 to 6.8. Is Brian Nicholson on?
He is, but well, was on, let me see if he can,
Hey, good afternoon.
he is.
This is Brian Nicholson from Malden and Jenkins, our auditors, and he's here to present our financial audit.
Welcome, Mr. Nicholson. Thank you for coming, sir.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here. So I've got a few slides that I can either share with y'all, or if y'all have them, I kind of go through and y'all can follow along. I guess what would be easier for y'all?
I'll defer to the financial gurus.
Yeah, I'm not sure what
got
slide you
it.
have it, whatever you have. is
I'm
fine.
going to pull up the presentation.
Can you pull up the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, Robin can pull it up.
Is that what you're looking at, sir?
That's it. So I'll go through this slowly and just kind of tell you like on the next page, and then we'll just kind of go that way if that works for y'all. So, all right. So if you want to start on page 2, the meeting agenda, I do have a brief agenda here. I've got more of a high level review. I've got, I'll go over the results of the 2025 Act first, some financial information. And as I go through this presentation, if y'all have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to stop and ask. We can also do that at the end as well. So if you want to flip to the next slide. So just to reintroduce myself, my name is Brian Nicholson, Malden Jenkins. I was the lead director for the district's June 30, 2025 audit. Trey Scott was the quality control review partner, and Tim Lyons was our technical support partner. The next slide really just has kind of a brief overview of the audit process. This graph kind of outlines kind of start to finish. It's really broken down into 3 segments. Segment 1 is our planning and interim procedures. Segment 2 is where we do a bulk of the audit procedures, the detailed testing. And then segment 3 is where we do our detailed review, final completion, and then the presentation of the audit results. So the results of the 2025 audit. So our audit was conducted in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards and government auditing standards. We did issue a clean or an unmodified opinion on the district's basic financial statements. What that means is that there's no material misstatements throughout the document. We will issue our report over internal control and our single audit report. And just kind of give you a little bit of background on that. So our testing for the single audits is based on the 2025 compliance supplement. And that was actually finally released on Wednesday of last week, so right before Thanksgiving. So we're spending today and tomorrow kind of going through and finalizing those audit procedures. And we hope to have a representation letter sent to the district either tomorrow or maybe Monday. And once we get that back, we can finalize that report. And you'll notice in your document that you have in front of you, the compliance section, which is these two reports, is not included. So that will be released in a separate reporting package. So a little different than the prior years, just due to that delayed supplement. But just to go over the results, we had no findings or material weaknesses over the district's financial statements. We did conduct a single audit, as we just mentioned. The district's two major federal programs was the Magnet School Assistant Program and the Special Education Cluster. Again, we will issue an unmodified or clean opinion as well. No material weaknesses, no findings, no significant deficiencies as well. These next few slides are really some required communications. I'm not going to hit all of this, but I'm going to hit some of the important ones. The first bullet point I want to mention is bullet point 2 under significant accounting policies. In the current year, the district was required to implement GASB Statement 101 for compensated absences. This did have a material effect on the district's financial statements. And if you want to read about it, you can go look at note 20 in the ACFR report. It requires the district or reporting entities to reevaluate how they report and account for sick leave. So that is something a little bit different compared to last year. And then if you look on the next slide, the three things I kind of want to point out here is our relationship with management. An audit, unfortunately, it's an invasive process. We ask for a lot of information, and unfortunately, we have to be given that information. We did receive full cooperation from Tanya and Lori and their team. Not once were we told we couldn't have access to a particular document, or not once were we unable to be provided a document. So we do appreciate the district and all the hard work that they put in on the front end so that we can come in and do what we need to do as well. There are no disagreements with management. And then the last one is that audit adjustments bullet point. There were no past adjustments during the audit as well. This last slide before we get to some financial information, really the only thing I want to point out here is auditor independence. Our professional standards require that we maintain a level of independence throughout the audit process, and we did maintain that independence throughout the audit. These next few slides really focus on the district's general fund, the main operating fund of the district. This one kind of highlights the increase in fund balance for the general fund as of the last 5 years. You'll notice the district's general fund balance was right at 79.1 million. That's an increase of about 6.8 million as compared to the prior year. And if you look at the next slide, you'll kind of see the change in the increases compared to prior years. So a steady increase every year, but this just kind of compares the total increase year over year. This next slide is really just more for a visual. It shows total revenues and transfers in compared to expenditures and transfers out. With that increase we mentioned before, you'll notice that the blue column, those revenues and transfers in always exceed the expenditures and transfers out, which is that orange column. And then I did want to mention this last slide before we kind of close out here. So the state of South Carolina has a minimum fund balance policy of 8.3% or 1 month of expenditures as unassigned fund balance in every district's general fund. So the district had approximately 22.5 of annual expenditures in fund balance as of June 30, 2025. And of that, 21.7% of fund balance or of unassigned fund balance, or I'm sorry, 21.7% of annual expenditures in unassigned fund balance. So well above that 8.3%. And these last 2 or 3 slides is really just informational. We already talked about GASB 101. A couple new GASBs coming out next year's GASB 103, which is the financial reporting and improvements model. Won't have a huge effect on the district. And then GASB 104, which really just kind of cleans up financial reporting over capital assets. And then I do like to include this last slide as well. Just, we do offer free quarterly CPE to all of our clients. Most of it is financial based, but every now and then we do have some more tailored to boards of ed or to, board of trustees, council members, finance committees. And so if you're ever interested to being on that CPE, just let me, Tanya, or Lori know, and we'll get you added. So with that, any comments and questions?
I'll ask Ms. Hay first.
Yes. Curious Mr. Dallas's opinion on adding those who, at least the minimum, are on the finance committee each time to the CPE list. But also, sir, thank you for the brief and straightforward reporting. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
We can do that.
Ms. Frazier?
No question at the time.
Okay, Mr. Smith?
No questions.
Okay, then if I may, can everyone go to page 4? Under the top little block, report on 2025 financial reports, dropping down below there. That line right above there, I made a note to myself, the board still has a responsibility to provide oversight. So we are really trying to get that fine line, not tying you up with a lot of unnecessary work, but it's still having transparency and access, okay? So I just wanted to explain that. The next item on the next page, report the district's compliance with statutes, laws, regulations, and requirements applicable to federal award programs, responsibility of the district's management. Anybody got an idea of what that really means? How do we sort of ensure that control?
Are you asking me, sir?
I'm asking our finance colleagues as well as you, Mr. Nicholson, or any of the other board members. Yes, ma'am.
So, I mean, I can answer that from a auditing perspective.
Okay,
There are certain laws and regulations that every government entity, and then it's a little different for school districts. There's certain compliance requirements that you have to meet. You know, just some that come to mind, collateralization of bank statement or bank balances to make sure those are FDIC insured, or if it goes over FDIC insurance, that it is properly collateralized due to bank failure. CDL compliance for bus drivers. And one that was new this year was really the state lottery tuition assistance program. That's something that's new that we'll have to look at next year. So those are a few that we look at as far as the statutes, laws, and regulations.
okay, thank you very much, sir. Moving to, okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, the printer's proof, yeah, I just saw that and I hadn't seen that in a while, so thank you for that. Okay, moving on to the first page where it has fund balance and it shows the total amount of fund balance by year. It's good to see that. When I saw the 6.8 million, I thought that was very good. And then on the page 10, I just wanted to share with everyone collectively here. And this is, I think, us as a board and as an organization, just being very mindful of stockpiling cash, which if you have a business that has too much cash, you make yourself prone to a takeover. You know, Cannon Mills in the 80s, Murdoch went in and bought because their liability and health funds were so overfunded. He saw that, he came in and bought equity interest and then took all the cash out and repaid his investors. And so that's where all that initial green mail started. And so, but from an entity like we are, a school district, we never know what's going to happen in terms of funding. We never know what the economy is going to do, what legislative guidance comes out. So we have tried to make sure, as we saw this little time period of uncertainty, that we stockpile more cash. So I just wanted to applaud the financial groups and the leadership school district for recognizing that. Now, as a kid growing up on a farm, my dad used to tell me the fastest dollar I ever make is one I don't spend. I've taken that to heart. So the 22.5%, I'm comfortable with that, just as an FYI. And so thank you all for accomplishing that and, you know, transferring things where appropriate to make sure we cover all the things that are necessary. So I was very, very pleased with it. And so is there anything you folks want from us, from the board members?
I want to point out one thing, and that's that the fund balance percentage that's used in the presentation is based on current year, where in our board policies, we actually base it on the next year. So you'll see a difference between that 22% and the 21% that we typically report to you.
Sounds good.
So in the executive summary, you'll see that it says fund balance is 21%. So
Okay.
that's the explanation for that. There's some other highlights on here with their 25th consecutive year with no audit findings, the 35th consecutive year with the GFOA Certificate of Excellence pending. And of course, our Moody's ratings and Standard & Poor's ratings of very high credit, AA1 and then AA for Standard & Poor's have been affirmed. So those are important things to highlight. We have covered our minority and women business enterprise reports that are required twice a year. And we have presented our 4 quarters worth of financial statements. So, and transparency reports are reported every month as per regulation. So at the end of this, we just need a motion to take this to the full board and approval of the OE 6.1 through 6.8. We can
Yeah.
request that.
Yeah, before we go to that, which, we will definitely ask Ms. Hay to make that motion and so we can get a second. On this particular page you just referenced, one of the things that, again, we talked about in another committee was how do we project into the community more about these types of things? So the comment I made to myself was presence at community events. Another one is school district representation at key community events. The one I just went to for the first time since I've been living here was the St. Helena Heritage. That is massive. That is absolutely massive. I had no idea. And so there were so many different entities that I'm engaged in on a personal level that had tables or tents there. And I'm just wondering, not just the finance folks, but maybe the school district going forward, we can consider how do we let people know about all the great things that we're doing, the kids we educate, how we provide food, those types of things. We don't get credit enough for it. We don't get enough credit for it, and it's being done. So it's like having the Mona Lisa. If you ever seen the Mona Lisa, it's not a very impressive painting. However, it's a $1 billion painting, and it's like having the Mona Lisa in the dark. No one can see it and appreciate it. So that's my comment, and I just think it's phenomenal what you folks are doing. Ms. Hay?
Yes, sir. Are you ready for the motion?
Yes, sir.
Or ma'am? I move
Oh,
that
yes,
the full
ma'am.
board. I move that the full board approve OE 6.1 6.8 for the year of 2025.
Okay. Properly motion. And all in favor say aye. Aye.
Do you need to second or no?
Oh, I do need a second. I need a second. Sorry.
Second, thank you.
That's
I
okay.
second. Properly motion second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Hay. All right. Next. Budget calendar. Okay.
This is our completed budget calendar. This year, we started earlier than we have in past years, gathering feedback from different stakeholders. The principals have already done a needs assessment that goes into budget priorities. We start our first public comments tonight at the SIC meeting. And then we have our next two public forums in January. And then we also will come to the board at the same time in January for the board priorities. And then from there, we will have the first proposed budget at the April 24th board meeting. Finishing up with our third reading by the Board of Education in May. And then we will go to county council with a certified budget, hopefully on June 22nd this year. So a little bit earlier, just by a week for a certified budget, earlier for the Board of Education. But we are already working hard getting priorities and needs assessments from different groups of people up here already.
Okay. Ms. Hay, any comments, ma'am?
No, sir.
Ms. Frazier?
No, sir.
Mr. Smith?
Not at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Thank you, Ms. Hay. One thing that you did this year, and I thought was extremely good, was you sort of put the solicitation of input from some of the people closer to the point of contact. So the principals, what have you. So that as you build it up, you know you have that support and it more closely mirrors rather than coming to the board and we give you what we think, and we are very far removed from those, what the true needs could be. So just want to applaud you for collectively for making that change. All right. So thank you. Okay. Moving right along. Cash in school buildings.
Yes, sir. That is me. The background of this is an operational services administrative regulation that is establishing the superintendent's expectations on dealing with cash in Beaufort County school buildings. There are 3 changes to the regulation to bring this regulation into compliance with current practice. One is we have to have the addition of the non-discrimination clause as provided by legal counsel. And we are establishing a maximum amount of cash to be held in the buildings to now be $100 rather than the $25 that is in the current AR. This hasn't been updated since 2016, so it's been a great amount of time. There's been a lot of operational cost increases, inflation, travel costs, etc. And one thing that I have seen myself and heard from our campus finance specialists is they often have to make change for 50s and 100s. So they need a minimal amount of cash raised so that they can make that change for parents when needed. So this is just a change in OS 18, and it allows us to manage better day-to-day for financial transactions while still providing safeguards that we need to over cash. Don't need any action from this. This is really just informational.
Okay.
If there's any questions, I'd be glad to take them.
Ms. Hay, any questions, ma'am?
No, sir.
Ms. Frazier?
No, thank you.
Mr. Smith?
So if I'm understanding this correct, then basically this is a AR.
Yes.
This is OS 18.
OS 18.
It's
But that's an administrative regulation.
right. Operational services.
Okay.
Rather than an OE or
So then it is a AR.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I think I have no further questions at this time.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Call center report.
This is me again. We just put together a report, with each location designating high schools, K-8, middle schools and elementary schools, and then, their cost per student and their 45-day enrollment counts. If they receive Title I funds, and then the average teacher set by that location. And then on the second half, which falls onto the back side of the paper, is sort of their ranking by their cost per student from highest to lowest.
Okay. I appreciate, the explanation of what TCHR that is. So I hadn't seen that acronym.
Oh.
So thanks for that. I was given that. Ms. Hay, any comments or guidance, ma'am?
No, sir.
Ms. Frazier?
No, sir.
Mr. Smith?
No, sir, not at this time.
It would be interesting to get some more granularity around. So when I look at the schools that are like Title I schools with the single asterisk, what are the variations between schools that might cause a higher cost per pupil? Now, we know the number of students is the biggest one. So we double number of students, basically their cost per student is almost halved. But are there other things? And not looking to be pejorative or anything like that, but just seeing if there are any expense trends that vary that we could take a look at. And that might be a future study, as you've done on the first two, to give us some real deep dive granularity. And it may be nothing. And we'll be okay with that. We know that the people in the field are doing the best they can. And with the specifics that they're given. So, and that's not a priority. Just saying, when you get through all of the major things, this is major, but let's give it some thought, right? Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that okay with the three board members online?
Absolutely.
Sure, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you both. Future agenda topic.
It is recommended to not hold a January meeting due to the holidays and the time constraints of being able to get all the reported information to the finance committee. And we have not for the past, I believe, 2 years held a meeting in January. So all of December and January's information would be presented in the February committee meeting.
Ms. Hay, are you okay with that?
Yes, I am.
One of the reasons that we usually don't have meetings is because the election takes place in January and then committees are formed. So might not necessarily have the same people and the dates and stuff change. So generally, we don't have committee meetings in January.
Are you referring to the actual school district?
The school board,
Like who's on what committees, that type of
school board members,
school board members? Okay,
school board
okay.
members.
okay.
The committees are made up in January
Right.
after the election. So then, we don't have anything until February.
Okay, all right, I understand.
What
Thank you.
is that date in February?
What,
Don't have it.
for,
Finance.
we don't have it yet because we haven't made up the committee in January.
I'll wait, patiently wait for my date.
The dates might, the meeting dates might change based off of who is on the committee.
Thanks for reminding me of that. I have, okay. Future agenda topic? Anybody else have any? I would like, one, is to think about how you continue the great start out of the blocks that you've done over the 3 years I've been here and before. How do we help communicate and teach the public? Because there's so much work done here, and it's just amazing how few people know it. And I think we should hopefully look at, for example, board members. Can we put together a package for those that are willing to do it and take it into the community? All of us get asked to speak at different things on a fairly routine basis. The community report is phenomenal. But is there a way to have something similarly effective from a programmatic approach? Here are the programs that you don't know about. Give it some snappy title like that, which you probably didn't know this about the school district. and then gives an opportunity to sort of share that. Ms. Hay, Fraser, and Smith, any future topics you'd like to consider?
None that I can think of at this time, sir.
Okay, and then collectively, you'll choose a deep dive for February financial group. So,
Ms. Crosby will put together a list of 3 items based on, that stick out or kind of present themselves from the transparency and then present them to finance committee to choose what will bring.
sounds good.
Leah says, no, sir, she doesn't have anything.
Thank you, Ms. Frazier. Mr. Smith, anything?
No, I'm just still kind of just taking this in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay. Is that it? Everybody okay? All right, 57 minutes. We like giving you back your time, all right? Okay, unless there's more to be done, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thank you all.